evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. Suddenly sweating. It's like humid out there. Not gotten rain, but it's not even warm out. It's just the humidity. It's okay. I'm not nervous or anything. Of course, that's how it goes. You get everything set up, and then in the last 10 or 5 minutes, if there's something you gotta tweak, uh, that's just how it is. I guess that never stops. Um, I'm a little bit excited, more than usual, to do a show today because I figured since this camera picks me up better with the lighting that I use, theoretically I could use something darker to cover up my own light, so my eyes are less murdered by the end of my show. And so that you can also like see that has to be lighter so you can see me, but like I can still read the gray still plays on the shirt. I can still see that. Like I look brighter on this than I do in real life. So I'm just happy I've got this darker. It's just like a regular purple bandana instead of the. I've got a bandana that's like pastel purple like this that I was covering it up with, and then I've got a white sheet behind that. That's the lightest I could do. But I don't like the fact that I can't do anything after my own show. After, quite frankly, I can still do things or play Minecraft and whatnot, but when I do my own show, I can't do jack. I can't watch any of the. I've been watching a lot of Minecraft tutorials just so rather than me trying to figure it out. The game's been out for 15 years. Other people have figured out what I've tried to do, so I'll just see if there's a tutorial about it. I can't even watch those afterwards. I can't. I can listen to them just fine, but then I'll have to look at the screen. My eyes are tired. That I just feel worse. So I'll just put on something like I don't know. If they're good, sometimes those paranormal type of creepy, true haunting stories is something that's going to be an hour or so long. That's entertaining, but you don't have to focus on every single word to visualize what's going on. You can kind of half listen to it, and you're already thinking, okay, there's stairs in this house. It's 2 stories tall. That they mentioned bedrooms on either side. So like you're kind of visualizing it, but you don't have to focus on it like with Minecraft stuff. If they're building something, it's like, oh, okay, this goes here, that goes there, and then you have to get it just right or it's screwed up. Like with hoppers, they have to go the right way to do things. And if they don't, then your chest don't fill up and you're just left scratching your head. They don't always, some of them tell you about half the time, they tell you got to crouch down to place some stuff if it doesn't place correctly for you. Like half of the tutorials tell you that it's a little bit intuitive when you're trying to place something down. If clicking in all 4 corners doesn't work, you do have a jump button, you do have a shift, or you can key bind whatever you want to crouch down. That's a symbol of a friendship in Minecraft. You see it a lot when people are talking about like PvP, 2v2t. If you come across somebody and you just do like the crouch motion a couple of times, that's just a visual indicator that like, hey, this person is friendly, versus if you happen to be by somebody and their sword's out and they're not doing any kind of crouching or nothing and they're just looking at you, like that might be a fight right there. I don't know. I don't get that far into it, but that's just like the universal symbol of peace in Minecraft. You do that little crouch down thing if you come across people. I'm still in single player. I haven't been on a server or anything like that. I think it's because, maybe it's just because I'm old fashioned. Maybe it's because back in my day, you could play a whole game by yourself. I could play Final Fantasy VII by myself, no problem. I don't have to get, like World of Warcraft came out, and I didn't understand why you could not say fight some through some dungeon without, you had to be part of a guild, so you could always have like at least, I don't know, 5 or 10 people, make sure everybody's online at the same time, otherwise you can't progress. Because like, oh well, Tim and Phil can't make it, so there's 8 of us, so now none of us can advance. Like that sounds so stupid to me. Like, do you know what can happen in somebody's life to just make them not be able to be online, and then suddenly you're dependent on all these strangers just to play a video game. It's a monthly service. You have to pay for that thing every month. That's dumb as hell. Last I knew, I don't know if it's. I assume it still goes on. Uh, I never had an account. I just had a friend that played it, and I'm glad they have fun with it. But I, had to work for my money, so I couldn't afford all that kind of stuff. I was still living under my, parents' paychecks. So I don't like. I do understand. It is cool to play with your friends. Like in multiplayer, Super Mario 64, Mario Kart. Everybody got a controller. You can play and you can fight about it when the other person you're cheating. But I just don't see the point in having to have other people physically around just to advance my character in a game. But I do see the fun in that. Like I'm sure down the road I would like to like, hey, we got a core group of folks and we go adventuring together and maybe I'm really not quite that social, but if I happen to fall in with some friendly folks, like hey, that's cool. I'm friendly too. I'm not here to grief anything or to spy on anybody or wreck up the place. I just like there's so much negativity out there in the world and on the news. Just inside other people. There's just such evil inside other people, and some folks just think it's cool to get online and spread that around. I mean, you're free to. It's just like in real life. I just figure there's so much bad in the world. I don't want to be adding to it. That the internet should be a break from reality. You shouldn't have to be dealing with the same kind of dramas online that you do in real life. Some of us do. Oh, what's up? I want to go to. Glad you made it. Says evening, folks. Yeah, what's up on a Saturday? Saturday. Okay. It sort of feels like a Saturday, I guess. Yeah, just a regular day. I was getting antsy. There was some stuff. Again, I'm watching tutorials. I was gonna wait and try it in Minecraft tomorrow, but I had time today, so I hopped on there and I wanted to tweak a couple of things. And like I said, I am working on the cottage from Dark Shadows. It's there's another window in that room. I'm wondering if I just want to throw something in there and then maybe not put anything else because I know there's a window, so there can't be a wall there with more house. So it just has to be a clearing over there. Like, do I just leave that open and build the other side of the house? That's kind of what I'm doing. And then I'm interested in the dyes, so I've got that going. And I want the kitchen to look like a kitchen, but I sort of want it to be efficient. So I've got it set up where I've got a furnace with a hopper underneath that leads into a chest. So you can just, whatever you feed in there, you put fuel in it, but whatever you feed in there, just as soon as it's cooked, it automatically goes through the hopper into the chest so you can just take it out and it's cooked. And then if you break the furnace, you get the experience from it. You don't really deal with experience when you're in creative mode, but you still get those little, I don't know what to call them, level balls. If you break something or kill something, your experience points. They're these little teeny tiny, like green and yellow, super itty bitty, and they make these little ding sounds and they fly at you, and that's when your little bar goes up. Though that's how you level up your experience balls, experience points. That's how it is. It's fine. Just gonna wait a couple minutes here, let some folks file in. Oh, I did that thing. I mentioned how many subscribers I have, and then one person unsubscribed. So that's just what happens. That's cool. So that means I'll lose a couple subs, but then I'll gain a few more. That it slowly builds up. So that's not bad. I expected that. What I didn't expect to see is I don't look at this every single day, but I looked at YT Studio for just how my live shows are doing to just see how the likes are. Because when I started doing these, they were kind of like the Dark Shadows videos were kind of lower than my balcony chat or like Nikki M at 7 p.m. shows. One to go to says, amazing to me how I often don't have time to do what I want, but I'm usually lucky enough. I'm usually lucky to get with this live bit of Nikki. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a good time of day. 7 p.m. is a real good time of day. And I don't know if this is helping. Maybe it should have by now after going live for a year and a half. We're used to, you get that frankly muscle memory to just be online at 7 p.m. Eastern time. You know, that might be different for you if you're in a different time zone, but it's just like your just clock, internal frankly clock just knows it's 7 p.m. Even on Sunday, it'll be like 6:55 or 7:02, and I'm picking up my phone, even though it never chimed off, or I'm looking at my clock after not looking at any kind of clock for hours on end. I don't check nobody's checking the time when they're playing video games. And these always stay up because some folks are, maybe they're eating this time of day. Some people don't have any, TV on or nothing when they eat. They just sit and, think about their meal and talk to the person across from them when they're having dinner so they can watch this, after the fact, that kind of a thing. I've only ever had one episode taken down, so I'm careful about the topics I mention. It's not necessarily a language thing. I didn't show like weapons during a live stream or nudity, just certain protected topics. You just don't want to. I mean, you just have to. I don't want to find a way to tiptoe around it. It's not that important. But 99% of these episodes stay up, and I'm noticing these Dark Shadows episodes are quickly gaining traction. The like, not the likes, but the views. Like my last one got up over 100, and okay, like one of those was me, but that's still 100 people, if that's a accurate number. YouTube really does not put counting up high in its priorities. Oh, my hair's a wreck. But yeah, that's cool. Even my Dark Shadows complete series video of my unboxing is even still getting views. It's like 3,200 some odd views for that. I mean, it's been up for over a year. That's sort of expected, but that kind of popped off. I never got like hundreds of views in one day before, and I did with that video. And then it's I don't know, like 500 or 800 after a few hours, and in one day it just popped off. It seems like YouTube recommended that to a lot of people. It's weird about recommendations. You can see what videos are like. Oh, your video was recommended on these videos, and it's like Natalie Wood movies. I like her fine. Uh, just like this odd smattering of old stuff, which kind of makes sense. I'm talking about an old TV show, but like it's nothing I've watched before, and it's so I guess that's good. So it's that video is recommended to people and channels that I don't have anything to do with. That's how you branch out. Oh, I wonder if I'll make it into the trash can. I don't think so. That's okay. So yeah, I'm glad folks are digging it. I really like this show. I really do intend to do the entire series. Even though as I'm going through my notes, like, wow, I barely wrote anything down for that. I wonder what happened. I was really blowing through these really fast when I first watched them. Like, I got through the first 3 discs in a day or two. The next day, I'd gotten through another 2 days later, I'd gotten through another 3 discs. That's all I did. I get up as soon as my eyes are ready for it, pop in Dark Shadows, notebook, and just go all the way. I can't just like watch. I mean, I could if I had to, but I can't just like sit down and watch like an episode and take notes and then do something else. It's the same with video games. I don't see how people can sit down. You've only got 30 minutes, so you play for 30 minutes, then you get off. I never did that back in the day. No, I'd get up at a good time, make sure I ate something big so I could just coast on it and just play all day. The only break I would take was a bathroom break and just go until you get sleepy. I don't understand. Why stop? I like to play Final Fantasy VII. I would always grind my we called it bulking up back then. Now it's called grinding. Just your bulking up your levels. I always did that. I was always super bulked up, maybe ridiculously so. I was not going to struggle through that game. There are it's still hard even if you have high levels. If you get in these weird status effects, you're still not going to have a good time. Get you a ribbon. You get 2 in the game, and then you have to, like, find more. Oh, Jules, what's up? Glad you made it. She said, speaking of sleepy, I just woke up. Hot, yeah. I was more tired yesterday. I mean, I'm never really fully awake, but I don't know. It's a pretty good day. I'd say so. I haven't weighed myself in a week, but it can't be that much. I think I'm doing good on that. So yeah, let's get right back into Dark Shadows. We are on episode 27. It's the last episode of Disc 3. This aired on August 2nd, 1966. And we're still on that 3rd day. This is so much easier looking at this. Just with that darker, I can feel it already. Like, this is so nice. I wish I would have done this sooner. I'm really happy with my decisions. I made a good decision for myself, and it's working out. OMG. I'm glad I got it on video, too. Usually when something good or bad happens, I'm never filming. Anyway, still on the 3rd day. We're in the living room at Collinwood. We get a really good shot of those 4 pictures on the living room wall. So it's got to be, again, that there's a picture that's above the piano. Then we have the windows. Then there's the fireplace has a big portrait above it. Then there's that little teeny tiny picture off to the side. Wait, 1, 2, 3. I forget the 4th one. We either get the shot of the one way off to the side that Carolyn said it looks like Uncle Roger but with a beard, or we're getting a shot of the one that's over by the phone. I forget exactly, but we can see 4 of the 5 portraits in that room. So it's a good establishing shot. If you were going to say, like, build it in Minecraft. Actually, let me put a pin in that. They actually have, I might have it saved on my phone, the floor plan of Collinwood, like the foyer with the steps going up, and the living room. And I forget if it's exactly like this is the floor plan the way it was on the show, because I think they add some extra rooms off to the side that we haven't seen this yet, but like Roger's study, I think they show where that would be, theoretically, and in real life that's a studio, but just in universe. So I don't have to think about it. I can follow the floor plan. But anyway. Yeah, it's the afternoon. Again, we're in the living room, and Victoria is looking for David. He's always just... All he has to do is sit down and learn, and all she's doing is getting this little boy running into her room and taking her letters and hiding from her. So he doesn't seem like he does well with new people. But Carolyn comes back home, and she mentions that she was just over in Burke Devlin's room with the constable. And Victoria's like, she knows that was a waste of time. She says that, well, he won't have to ask Burke any more questions. And then Carolyn kind of, you can see like the gears spinning. She kind of puts it together, that statement with Victoria searching for David, urgently. She really does want to find him. After she was just calling him a monster, after Carolyn was just calling her little, cousin a monster, then she says, he's only 9 years old. Like, girl, please, which is it? And Victoria's saying that, well, David must have used that wrench that Burke found. Doesn't know why he kept that valve in his room, but she found it, and now it's missing. And Carolyn just does not seem surprised by this at all. She said, these walls shouldn't be paneled. They should be padded. And then she blames herself for bringing Burke Devlin to Collinwood. This is a new location. We are in Bangor. It's the Bangor Pine Hotel. We only ever see this one establishing shot from it from the outside. We don't see the town of Bangor, so that's all we get. But it's a nice hotel. It's one of these ones where it's got a full on, fancy, classy dining room, and then the rooms are, somewhere else that we can't see at that time. Really nice. It's definitely not the restaurant at the Collins Port Inn. This is like cloth napkin fancy. But Burke is there. He's meeting that fella Bronson, and apparently it's an hour drive. So if you can, I mean, Collinsport is, a fictional town, but it does have a real location you can find on a map. So apparently that's an hour from Bangor. I never Google mapped it, but they said it in universe, so it must be true. But the reason he's meeting this Bronson fella out of town is because he doesn't want to be seen with him in Collinsport, or he'll just have to fire Bronson. If anybody knows they're working together, dude's out of a job, so he better keep it secret. And then Burke's paying him, so he's got to do what he says. So Bronson, he researched the Collins family financials. And Burke has to move up his plans because of Roger's accident. So they're talking business. So back over in Collinwood, up in that hallway in front of the bedrooms, Carolyn suggests that David could have gotten that valve back another way. And as she says this, Victoria hears just something fall behind that locked door at the far end of the hallway. Oh, John Rogers, what's up? Glad you made it. Yeah, smash that like button right meow. But she hears that noise behind the door, and Victoria mentions like that happened yesterday too. But the door opens up and Liz comes out. I thought it was going to be David. And Liz wants to speak with Victoria. So they head into a room. Yeah, what's up? So Liz suggests that Matthew Morgan had left that door unlocked, and David could have just found the valve. Then Carolyn walks in, and she's got something in her hand. So she goes up to Vicky's dresser drawer. It's a key, sticks it in, turns it. The drawer just opens up, the one that she locked, and then the valve was missing. So Victoria's surprised that it opens up, but Liz is not. She's lets her know, well, it's the same key for all the dressers, so they're gonna unlock all of the similar dressers. It's not. It must have been a set of them. So yeah. And then Carolyn's just kind of looking around, and she finds that mechanic magazine that David had gifted to Victoria. And notice, like, oh, look at this magazine. It's all about brake cylinders. And Victoria's like, yeah, that was a gift from David, and he was adamant that I take it. He really was. He insisted she had that magazine. So back over in Bangor at the hotel, Burke's wanting information on the houses. That should be homes. Burke wants information on the homes that the Collins family owns on the waterfront. They've also got a block of buildings in town that they own in the back of Main Street. And he wants this information fast. And Bronson's looking through his paperwork, and he knows he looked that up, but it's just not in his briefcase. So it's just, I don't know. I don't have it. I must have left it on my desk back at the office. I mean, in that case, I guess my secretary must have mailed it to me. Uh, but the secretary didn't know where Bronson was going to be. And this was the information about that Logansport cannery. So the secretary, with no other address to send it to, must have sent it to Burke at the Collinsport Inn in Collinsport. And again, Burke can't let anyone in Collinsport know that they're working together. Everyone notices everything there. One letter shows up, and the guy at Mr. Wells is going to read it, and then Maggie's going to know about it, and then everybody's going to know about it. So that's how it works in that town. It's just super gossipy. That could be a problem. So back over at the living room in Collinwood, Liz gets on the phone to tell Roger that David is just gone. He's just, we can't find him. He's just nowhere. And Roger doesn't give a fuck. He calls his son useless. Direct quote. LOL. OMG, man. And then so she asks Carolyn to go look for David. And Liz didn't tell Roger about the valve because she's not sure if David had it. All she knows is Victoria said she found it. And she really did not want to believe that. So back over at the Bangor Pine Hotel, Burke just calls the Collinsport Inn asking if any mail arrived for him. There hasn't. But that's when he finds out that the sheriff searched his room and a little boy tried to break in. He's been out of town for an hour. And then we get a shot of Victoria's room for the credits. It's gone for 1 hour and everybody's like pounding on this dude's door, searching it. Oh my god. They really keep tabs on that dude. Pardon, nose is just a little bit drippy. I'm not sick or on drugs or anything. I'm unfortunately very sober when I do all of these, unless otherwise stated. Like, I haven't been drinking. I've got some Monsters left. Don't drink Monster. It has sucralose. I've got coffee. I just don't think to make it. All right, recap. This is, again, every 3 discs I stopped and just wrote a little synopsis of what was going on. Otherwise, I could not keep it straight in my head, even though I was taking notes. Just stuff that did not come up exactly in the episode, and I just wanted it somewhere else. Just things that I'm pondering or figuring out that. I mean, I could put them in with the episode later on. I do a little bit, but just stuff that's sort of just, it hasn't come up yet. Maybe it never will. Just stuff I'm noticing. Like, why is that cup always in the shot like that? Little stuff like that I notice. Oh. So we're 27 episodes in. This covers discs 1 through 3. So we don't know how old Maggie is. Later we might get a little bit closer to that, but that just we can guess, but that just has not been stated. We sort of don't have exactly that much information to figure it out, nor do we know exactly when her mother passed away. And she used to be proud of Sam, like 10 years ago. But then he's been drunk for 10 years, and now he's moody. So of course he became a drunk. If he maybe it was moody before, I don't know. If we don't know, it seems like he was did a 180 to what he was like before, and now he's just a moody drunk. Good actor though, good actor. I like this guy. You can tell he's ginger too. That's so cute. Yeah, her mom must have died before the events 10 years ago, is what I was assuming. Carolyn is scared living at Collinwood, but she's also scared of leaving Liz, so she pretends to be like normal people. That's why she's so like boppy and cheery and friendly. It's because she's just so scared at Collinwood all the time. She just wants to turn that around and act like she's not. And that's how she comes off. And her dad left before she was born. She's never seen this dude. She has no idea. Has never spoken to this guy ever. That is so sad. Everyone acts like Collinwood is haunted, except Liz. And she was always so glam. Even in her bedclothes, she's so glamorous. And she loves Carolyn and David. And then she tolerates Roger for David's sake. She just treats him like a real little boy. And Roger is a heartless bastard until it comes to Carolyn. He hits the bottle a lot. I think he hates David because he reminds him of his wife. And then he yells at him and he beats him. Just no love for that child at all. And other than Liz, it does seem like David, he has had no one except his mom be nice to him. But then he's also a pure psycho. It is nice to see that cottage done up old fashioned. It's more it's spoilers. Later on, it seems like more of a like somebody's like house rather than just a kitchen entrance. But it does look like rather old timey with that wood stove in there. Carolyn is 18. And Victoria is 20. And she is only putting up with this because she knows she'll find answers at Collinwood. And if David, I almost like focus on like who's the villain, who's the, and that's not necessarily who's the good guy, because like everybody, not everybody, but a lot of characters end up doing like something bad. But like who's the like air quote drink big bad for this time frame? And nobody hates the Collins family. I don't know about the Collins family, but if David teams up with Burke, it's over for the Collinses. I think David hates his dad more than Burke hates the entire family. They would be a dastardly duo if circumstances were different. That's it, just a short recap. All right, episode 28. This was August 3rd, 1966. We're still on that third day in the afternoon. We are at the Collinsport Police Department. Burke comes in and he is pissed off that his room was searched. And that's when the constable tells him that he's a suspect. And he says, if you didn't do it, who did? Like, you're the cop, man. You figure it out. Why you ask them I don't know. I don't know how they go about doing their job. So over at the Collinsport Inn, Maggie just finds David hanging around the lobby. He's just loitering. So she brings him into the restaurant, like, oh, you'll be more comfortable in here. Why don't you, sit down? I'll make you a sundae. Everybody likes sundaes. And there's David. Saying his dad dropped him off, and he's at the office right now. Pretty sure he just walked down. I don't know how he got into town, but suddenly he's just there. And then Maggie makes this sundae. It's this little shallow tray, and maybe the ice cream had just melted. I don't even know how hot it is in a studio like that with all those lights, but the ice cream does seem rather melted. And then it just looks like a ton of chocolate syrup on top with a cherry and some whipped cream. Like, dude, that would be such a stomachache. Like, I'm still going to eat it, but that would hurt so bad. So she makes David a sundae, there you go, spoon. Like, well, You just go ahead and eat that. Now I've got to go call my dad and let him know where I am. So Maggie just excuses herself to make a telephone call. So back at the police department, Burke's just kind of hanging out. There's these wanted posters up on the wall. I don't recognize anybody up there. But the constable says, see anyone you know? That might be his first joke. Good for him. He's not like the LOL funny type, but every once in a while he gets a line in there. So the phone rings. It's Frank from New York. This guy calls, but the constable can't talk right now. He'll call him back. Hangs up. And Burke just mentions how he doesn't want the police department bothering him, and he knows that call was about him. Basically saying, do your job and get off my back. Oh, he was speaking to, apparently, it's no, I don't know if you know this, Frank, a Lieutenant Frank Palmer. That's the fella in New York who was looking into Burke for him. Palmer, nice. Final Fantasy VII reference. All right, over at the Collinsport Inn. I forget if David ate all of that Sunday or not. I don't know if you're really going to let the child actor eat that much, but Maggie's just trying to keep him in there longer and say, hey, how about I let you make me a Sunday, something like that, just trying to keep him occupied. Like, here, I'll show you how to use the ice cream scooper, David. I can do it. I know how. It's okay. Remember Mad TV Stewart? Like, let me do it. Like, okay. So she lets him, and there's the diner restaurant. There's the proper, like one door to come in. Then you've got just a window in the back, and then you've got the double doors that lead to the hotel part. But she's just back at the window, just kind of looking out, just looking out the window casually, like she's waiting for somebody to show up. Nope. Watching Fortnite is not fun. But she's Meg's looking out the window, and she tells the desk clerk that she saw. No, wait. Oh no. Oh, sorry. Maggie tells David that the desk clerk saw him trying to get into Burke Devlin's room. So that's when David tries to leave, but Maggie bribes him with hot fudge. And right as she's doing that, Roger comes in through the doorway to the hotel. And David, he was behind the counter when this happened, so he sees his dad and he just slinks off. There's the counter there. It opens up where the camera is, so when he slinks off, like we can see it. It's in the downstage, upstage, the front of the stage. Pardon me, I forgot the terminology. The front of the shot. Roger comes in and Maggie, oh yeah, David's right here. We were just having a Sunday and well, where did he go? He just he slipped out fast. I know he's a little kid, but damn, dude snuck out of there like a snake. And Roger doesn't care. He's like, well, if you see him, tell him he can get back to Collinwood the same way he got out. Like he's a teenager. This is a 9-year-old boy. And check out Maggie's eye makeup. They put it's they have to put so much makeup on these girls anyway. Like even the guys too, but just to try to make it because you got these heavy lights on you. Just to try to. It's not like they don't have bone structure, but then they have to add more to it. But like check out what like the wings. on her eyelids, those little black wings. Her makeup is always so spot on. It looks so good on her. That's why it's nice to see her in the movies with less makeup. Like, oh my God, this chick is gorgeous without all of that to give yourself, like, you got to make it dark under here to just give it dimension because of those heavy effing lights. Carolyn's actress is a blonde, and I don't know if you can see it in the black and white episodes, but definitely in the color episodes. They just took some kind of dull blonde shade and just painted eyebrows on her. Like you can see her real blonde eyebrows there, but the lights are so bright you almost can't unless you're looking for them. So I mean, it looks totally natural. They're not weird. They're not freaky, but you can tell they're just completely painted on. Otherwise, she would not have any eyebrows at all. The way you gotta fight with lights when you're in front of the camera. Gotta love it. It was a struggle back then. It's a struggle today. But Maggie lets Roger know that David tried to get into Burke's room. And she's worried about her dad because he's been scared since Burke came back into town. So Roger asks if Sam and Burke talked about him. And Maggie's like, well, her pop is going to paint Burke's portrait. And she's sure Roger's involved. Again, nobody's giving her any information. She just has to piece this together herself. But she's sure he's got to be involved with this. So then Burke Devlin walks into the restaurant and he orders the lobster roll, mainly to get, Maggie, just get away. He wants to talk to Roger. Roger says, don't mess with me. And Burke's like, or what? You gonna railroad me out of Collinsport like last time? Roger says he wants him locked up. So a commercial break. Later, Maggie is confirming that it was David looking into Burke's room. It looked like the door was open and he was just up there, like trying to peek in to see what he could see, kind of a thing. It wasn't necessarily he was fiddling with the lock or something. Yeah, obviously Roger, took off after his whole "don't mess with me" thing. And Burke confirms that Roger was upset to know that he saw Sam. But Maggie never saw Sam and Roger together, not since she was a kid or around the time of the trial. Okay, that's information. She was a kid 10 years ago. So the night Burke Devlin returned, Roger ran in looking for Sam. Why? Burke doesn't answer. That's like my last job. You ask a sincere question and you get crickets for an answer. They do that in Collinsport too. So over at the police department, the constables, his New York guy, Frank, that guy found that Burke Devlin sent a private investigator to Collinsport 2 weeks before he arrived. Just to find information on the Collins family. Uh-oh, they know about him. And then back at the Collinsport Inn, in the restaurant, Maggie is still looking for David. Like she's got to be around there somewhere. Nobody heard a door open up. And she just happens to walk on by, and then like David stands up. He was hiding inside the phone booth. So shot of the police department for credits. The phone booth door, it's like it has windows on the top, but then the bottom is solid wood. So anybody could be hiding under there. All right. So it sounds like David fought with Victoria about that valve, and then he just ran into Collinsport to see Burke. Episode 29. It is, well, it aired on August 4th, 1966. Should be obvious that we're on disc 4 now. If you have the DVDs, that means something. If not, it doesn't really matter. Still on that third day. Actually, it's night now. And we are in the living room, and Carolyn is just coming back from looking for David. No luck. So he's either hiding or out of town. Liz says that's not funny. Oh, she loves David. She's so worried about him. Carolyn says this, a direct quote, "He's a horror and you know it." And Liz is still, she does not believe Victoria about David. She just cannot fathom that he would try to kill his own father. So over at Burke's room, David just follows Burke into his room. Just, like when one person walks and the next person's following him, that's it. Just these two people, like he's a shadow. And David mentions he's been waiting 2 hours to see this man. This is the first time they've met. That kind of surprised me. As much as he's been hearing about this guy and he's been at the house before, they've never actually met each other before. So, okay, here we are in episode 29. And David's like, "How did you know my name?" Like 9-year-olds snoop around the Collins Port Inn all the time. And David said, like, "Well, I didn't, touch anything. I just looked around." So Burke promises not to call the Collins family, and he offers to make David a drink. Just it's like some different kind of, they don't say what, but apparently it's different kind of fruit juices. I wonder what. It makes me think of Hawaiian punch or something like that. Non-alcoholic. He's not a creep. So as Burke goes to make the drink in the kitchen, David has that valve on him. So there's the sofa right there, and he just, sticks it underneath one of the, like the edges there, just sticks it underneath the couch cushion there, and just tries not to keep glancing at it. So back at the living room, Liz blames Victoria for David running away. And Victoria can't believe Liz doesn't think she found that valve. Everybody's just like, they don't believe her about talking to Burke. They don't believe her about the valve. Like, you just brought this girl to your house and everybody's accusing her of lying. I'd be pissed. What's up, Patrick? Glad you made it. Says, "Evening, Nikki." Says hi to everybody. I hope you're all well. Just got back from today's rally in London. Over 1 million in attendance. Really good. Yeah, I remember you brought that up. What was there food? Are there food trucks? Are there drinks? You can tell I eat once a day. Were there snacks? What were the prices? Was there cotton candy? A fair food, pierogies, deep fried Snicker bars. I wonder how they do fairs in the UK. Do they still have the same, good for you food? What was there, lemonade? I'm glad you got there and back okay. I know it must be late there. I've actually got the time here. Almost 1 a.m. in the UK. That's not a bad time to be getting back home after midnight. That's like going to a concert. So up in Victoria's room, we've got a thunderstorm rolling in. Again, cool. Thunder sounds are never, it's not annoying like the telephone. It's not drowning out the actors. Very, very appropriate thunder sound. Sometimes there's lightning. I don't know if they always schedule that, have the lights set up for that. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Very atmospheric. They know what they're doing. But Carolyn says, you think Colin would have spooky now? Wait till the power goes out. Shoot. I've been in a big mansion with no power on. One of them woodland mansions in Minecraft. I didn't know about the night vision potion yet. You can't see the ceiling. You can't see the ceiling. It's so tall, and then there's noise. I'm like, oh no, I gotta get out of here. I know it's on peaceful mode. I was scared. I got out. So yeah, I'm sure Collinwood is scary AF with the power out. And then Carolyn says, David will come back and everyone will forget all about it. And don't worry, he was a problem before you came along. Over at Burke's room, he and saying that himself, Roger, and David's mom were pals before, his mom and dad got married. David mentions that he hitchhiked into Collinsport. He thought Burke would be different because of how his father spoke about him. But Burke asks if David's going to be his friend. Because I guess, I don't know, it sounded like David showed up expecting to maybe hate Burke or something, but he doesn't. I guess he wasn't expecting this man to be nice to him, and he is. So that's kind of like, David's kind of changed his mind about this guy. Patrick said, no, Nikki, people in control didn't do her thing to make her day go easier. Yeah, no food, no water. Oh my God. So it's like Coachella with no music. Want to go to have been watching recaps of protests in London on Human Dilemma channel. Okay. Are they protesting invaders? Or marching against invaders? I don't recommend watching the news, but if you are going to watch the news, watch. If you want to know about America, watch UK news. Watch the way they report on it. If you want to know about the UK, watch the US report on it. Like, don't watch the actual country's news that the events take place in. Watch how other countries report on those same events. Oh, Patrick, good. Yeah, people in control, government, police, etc. All right, good for them. Yeah. They got the wrong people in charge if they're letting all the invaders in. Very we got un-American, but what do you say in the UK? They're un-English? Are they Tories or something? What's their slam against them? I guess is what I'm asking. Gotta love the differences and insults across the pond. So back over at the living room, Carolyn doesn't know how Liz doesn't believe Victoria. I mean, David and Roger hate each other. Carolyn's like, hey, she might have tried to kill her own dad if she ever met him at David's age. Like she never thought about chucking a rock at that guy. Like the man who left her mother. Like, ooh, she starts getting hot during this sentence here. Like, I've never seen her. Like, she's not like hitting anybody, but like she's close to becoming violent over this. I see why. I would be pissed too, but I'm just trying to imagine this little 5'2" chick just like reaching up and punching. I don't know how tall her dad is. Just socking some grown man, just hitting him in the jaw, watching him fall backwards into something. He's got it coming. And all Liz has is Victoria's word about that valve and the magazine in her room. And Carolyn says, you can't wish away what David did by saying Victoria lied to you. And Liz kind of realizes that, people just kind of like wonder stuff aloud. And she's just saying, what's happening to all of us? Patrick says, much love shown to Charlie Kirk's passing. Yeah, oh yeah, that's something else they can get a whole group of people sad about. Yeah, that really sucks. So the phone rings, and it's Maggie saying that David was just there 45 minutes ago. Liz's mouth. Why didn't you call sooner? I've had that done to me. So Liz sends Carolyn into Collinsport to look for David. Why didn't you call us sooner? Like, you're on the phone, be not like, don't say thank you first. That's the first thing out of her mouth. So anyway, back up in Victoria's room, Liz goes up there, tells her about Maggie's phone call, and apologizes for calling her a liar. And says there's no peace for anyone at Collinwood. So over at Burke Devlin's room, David's saying that his father's always hated him and he doesn't know why. And he wishes his father was more like Burke Devlin. And he wanted to see Burke because his parents always fought about him all the time. So here's the guy that your parents always fought about. Turns out he's a nice dude. So then Burke offers to take David home before it rains. And, David heads out of the room. So Burke goes and checks in those cushions, reaches his hand under there, pulls out the valve. Get a shot of the living room for the credits. I don't know. I don't know if you want to be that guy. He's up in heaven now. It depends. I'm not here to talk anyone out of unaliving themselves. I would say wait a week and see if things get better, but really not in the position to convince anyone of that. All right, episode 30, August 5th, 1966. It's still the nighttime on that third day. We got the thunderstorm going on. So we're in the living room. Oh, Victoria's in there. Thunderstorming outside. But both the doors are open to the living room. And then all of a sudden, they both just slam shut and they lock. You hear them lock. Then the power goes out. So there's Victoria. She's looking around. A candle there, just match it, light it. It's still thunderstorming out. We still got that noise going on. But then, after the candle's lit, those doors fly back open. So Victoria turns around. She's startled. And there's this dark silhouette just standing there. It's just like we can see the wall behind them in the foyer. But they are in complete darkness. We can't see their face. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. It adult sized, but it's just this person standing there dressed all in black. There's no light on them. We don't know if that's an actor. It could be a stagehand. But as she's staring at this figure, it just vanishes. It vanishes. It just dissipates. And then bam, the power's right back on. Like, damn, did I even see that? But Victoria's still scared. She doesn't, believe in ghosts. It couldn't just vanish, but she still got that candlestick. So here she is. She's ready to bash somebody with it. Like I ain't going out like that. Like, I know that's right, girl. So she's like creeping into the foyer. She's looking around. She's ready to go. And while she's all tense like that, there's that back door to the kitchen. That opens up. And it's Roger. He comes back in. Talking about, it was just, there was a blown fuse in the basement. I just had to replace that. So apparently you can get to the basement through the kitchen door. If you're drawing that or designing that in Minecraft, that can go. Well, when you go through that door, the hallway immediately goes to the that way. I mean, for me, it's this way, but I'm trying to point the other way for you, so it would be to the right, right for you guys. So yeah, let your imagination run wild. We don't really get confirmation exactly as to where the basement lets out from up above. So yeah, it can be that way. Sure. What to go to today? I got my first Costco pumpkin pie of the season. Yum. Ooh. I forgot about pie. Dude, you can make pumpkin pie in Minecraft. Why can't you make alcohol? I don't know too much about making alcohol, but they have bread, they have sugar, they have water, they have berries. That's beer and wine, isn't it? I mean, I see why they don't have you making alcoholic beverages in a game that kids play, but I was thinking about that. I'm like, wait, they've got the ingredients. There's cocoa. Why is there not chocolate cake? I think about it too much. So Roger got the fuse replaced, so he apparently wasn't scared by the power going out. Goes in the living room, pours a drink, and he's not worried where David is. I don't think this is said. I just, it's my own observation. Yeah, David was with Burke earlier, the two people he likes the least. But Victoria says she found the valve in David's room. Roger doesn't believe her. Because, he thinks Burke did it. Oh, probably too late to mention it now. That recap that I did for if you didn't watch the last episode that I did covering Dark Shadows, I am so on top of it. Uh, where are we at right now? Can I watch my own show? Can I go there? No? Why not? I can't subscribe to Nikki M. Carlin. I can't watch her live show. Oh, maybe it'll let me. There we go. Why they gotta be hating? Yeah, Roger accused Burke of causing his car accident. Burke denied it. And just back at Collinwood, Dave was just worried about getting arrested for the same crime. I didn't have anything to do with my father's car accident. Just nobody said you did. Am I going to be arrested? Just for what? Patrick, I wanted to ask Wally if he enjoyed the West Ham Tottenham Tottenham game today. Somehow I think he didn't. Tottenham. That just makes me think of tater tots. Dude, that's potatoes. Girl, stop thinking about food. So back in Burke Devlin's room, David thinks Burke's nice now. And he tries to go back for that valve, but he's sticking his hand under the cushion, you're reaching underneath, he can't find it. So Burke's like, well, let me, get you home before it starts to rain. So we get one of these shots, in a car shot. So it's, I don't know if they have rain. Sometimes they think to turn on the wiper blades, but then they don't put water on the windshield. So we just have a Tottenham. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Yeah. That's the thing with English. Everything looks like it's so properly spelled, and then you actually say the word, it doesn't sound like that. But Burke's driving, as convincingly as he can. It's it's a fake car, so we get the black there every so often. We might get like the headlights drink from other cars going past, but they're doing a pretty good job. It's a better driving job than I told you about at the end of Breakfast at Tiffany's with the guy to just sit like the steering wheel's moving and his hands are just. It's better than that. Nobody drives that bad on this show. It's New York. You can't drive that way. So as Burke is taking David home, David's just getting nervous, realizing that he likes Burke, but then he just planted evidence, so he wants to go back. He says he forgot something back at Burke's room, and he has to go back, but he won't say what it was. I'll be a chap. Glad you made it. So back in Victoria's bedroom, she shows Roger where she locked up that valve and that magazine that David gave her. Roger says he never liked David, nor pretended to. Wow, that is harsh, buddy. You're telling this to a girl you've known for 2.5, 3 days. Bruh. Alright. So at Collinwood, down in the foyer, Burke says he found David walking and drove him home. And then Roger takes David to speak with him in the living room. And Burke just kind of sticks around in the foyer. And over in the living room, David blames Victoria for everything. It's her fault that he's always getting in trouble. She's always trying to get him in trouble. Everybody hates him. He's a broken record at a certain point. Nothing's ever his fault. A ghost causes everything. He's always a victim. Everybody hates him. Poor me. Violin. So that's what he's on about. Maybe all children are like this. I don't know. I've hung out with children. I've hung out with psychos. I've never hung out with a psycho child. Bruh. Yeah, Roger has David empty his pockets. David has some common loot for a rich kid. He's got a harmonica, a couple of coins, I don't know, a rock. Like, dude, he's not even worth killing. He doesn't have gold. He doesn't have materia. I would be embarrassed, man. You got to have something. I don't know. He just talk about a level 1 bad guy. Like dropping potions and stuff. Not even a potion. When they're dropping items you can't even really use, like 1 gil. You can't buy anything for 1 gil. Final Fantasy VII reference again. So over in the foyer, it's at 10 p.m. maybe. Ish, roundabouts. And Burke's admiring that grandfather clock. Saying how the clock's almost 200 years old. And Victoria's kind of like a little bit nervous with them there. You should, please, maybe you should fuck off now. And Burke's looking at her like, same. Because he's still on about, like, you shouldn't be in this town. You should leave Collinsport. That's what he's on about. So back over in the living room, Roger shows David that magazine. Then he has asked Victoria to come in, asked her, and she tells the truth. And Victoria just looks at David and says something like, how many times did you say you hated your father and he was going to send you away? And you would get even. So that's when Burke Devlin comes in. And Roger's like, I told you to fuck off. And Burke's like, been looking. Way to break the tension. Been looking for this. And he's got the valve right in his pocket. And we get a shot of David looking guilty AF. Like his cover, it's blown. It's out there. That is a shot of the living room for the credits. Which we mostly do. So again, sometimes it's a different angle. So if you're trying to draw it or design it, you get that. You get to see that. Episode 31, August 8, 1966. So 8866. It's still night on that third day. The storm is over. We're in the living room still. David tries to sneak out, but Roger catches him. And Burke's like, yeah, it's just that I found this valve on the ground where the accident happened. And Victoria confirms that's the valve she saw in David's room. So over in the foyer, it's Burke talking about you saying to Victoria, you have to keep your enemy stirred up. Yeah, good thing I no. Yes, what did he say? No, he's saying this to David. Yeah, keep your enemies stirred up. Yeah, good thing I didn't tell the truth. Kind of like don't bullshit a bullshitter. So Burke says he saw David hide the valve. He went to his room to plant evidence, but he forgives him for it because they're friends now. And he lets him know it's not cool to try to kill your dad. Like, just because we're friends, it doesn't mean murder's okay. Oh, B-Chap just reminded me of the classic movie Dennis the Menace. I want to say I watched that movie a lot when I was a kid. Is that a Jerry Goldsmith film? Let me... Dennis... I want to say it is, because people rarely talk about Jerry Goldsmith. So when they do, I pay really close attention. And it was something about how, when you're a composer, if you write a film score and then write another film score that sounds too much like your other work, you get in trouble for it. You get in trouble for like plagiarizing your own work. So you have to make all of your stuff sound so different, otherwise you get in trouble for sounding like yourself. But you can like sort of pay homage slightly to other things that you've done. Yep, Jerry Goldsmith. R.I.P. But they pointed out at one point in the film, since he did Patton, not the general, just the film score. There's like at one point they show an American flag being hoisted up, so we get that little that trumpety sound from Patton, just kind of paying homage to himself. Like, I like that. It's okay to reference your prior works. Just don't make that your whole shtick, because then it just sounds like you're like beating your like you're beating season 1 for views and you're on season 20. Like no, add some other stuff. But that's okay. You're allowed to reference yourself. So over in the living room, Roger was saying it was stupid not to hold on to that valve, telling Victoria that. Victoria's like, I thought it would be safe locked up. Like, how the hell was she to know that there was like the same key to different dressers? So Carolyn phones. She's found out Burke Devlin was seen leaving his room with David. So over in the foyer, David shows Burke a picture of we don't see it, but he takes out this picture. It's of himself with his mom. It's the only picture he has of her, and he says she's beautiful. But she's in the hospital right now. And he's scared of Roger because he's so mean. And if his mom comes back, then Victoria will leave. That's his logic. Like Victoria being there is the only thing keeping his mother away. So if he gets rid of her, his mom will just appear. Okay. LB Chip said, I can't remember too much about the film, just remember bits and pieces. When it was on TV, he kept going to his neighbor's house, hassling the adult man. Yeah, that was so cute. I know I watched it so much again as a kid, but I probably have not watched it since the 90s. Looking it up just now, it came out in 93. Yeah. I'd watch it again. Jerry Goldsmith film, come on. Walter Matthau. I remember it being a good, because a lot of times they take a cartoon, make it live action, it's not good. Especially now, but back then they could do that sometimes. So back over in the living room, Roger asked Burke, how did you meet David on the road when you were seen leaving the Collinsport Inn together? Busted. And up in Victoria's room, David follows her in? Like, why did he go into her room, it prick? And even Victoria tells him, too, it's not cool trying to kill your dad. And then David wishes Victoria never came to Collinwood. I hate you. David would do very well in internet chat rooms. So down in the living room, Burke says, I didn't say David was, yeah, I didn't say David was in my room because I knew you'd go off. And Roger says, you and David are both alike. You've got a story for everything. Burke says, you're not mad David tampered with your brakes. You're mad that I didn't. That's what it is. And up in Victoria's room, she's saying to David, well, I'm sorry you're mad at me, but I had to tell the truth. And then Roger comes in. He wants to speak with David alone. Oh yeah, down in the living room, Burke is he's there. There's it's a real piano there, and Burke is playing a chopsticks. You know, like when you play the two notes together, and then like two notes farther apart, and then two notes farther. You know what chopsticks is? He's playing that. I want to go to because this channel content is a one woman show. I don't mind at all Nikki referring to her own show or any of her own stuff. Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's more that I'm like proud of work that I've done, and it's not that like please go watch all my old videos. Please smash the like button. Like I'm not like begging for like the up thing. So that's what that is. You should be proud of the work you're putting out there. Like I'm not saying I'm top notch with all my stuttering and ums and all that kind of a thing, but you shouldn't be like doing a show or like creating content and putting it out there and being like, oh, that sucks, oh, that's lame. Some people, if they don't like, say, an old video, they'll redo it a few years later or re-edit it or refilm it. That's okay. But yeah, I would hate to think somebody's putting out content and they've got like like sheets and sheets you can scroll through, and they're just not proud of the work. That would be sad. Anyway, Victoria's worried about David because Roger looked pissed. And Burke says that he likes Victoria and he doesn't want her to get hurt. That's why he keeps telling her to leave Collinwood, leave Collinsport. Just get the hell away from this place. Don't look back. And Victoria knows that Burke had that private investigator after her. And Burke's like, yeah, and he offers to show her the report that he made up over dinner. I mean, do you want her to leave or do you want her to stay? Like, you just told her that she needs to get out of town, and in the very next sentence, you're inviting her to dinner. Make up your mind. Maybe you are like David. That's messed up. Roger and David are talking in Victoria's room. She had to go downstairs, but that's what we're back up in Victoria's room. Roger calls David a murderer, and he says he's going to send him where he can't hurt anyone. So David runs out of the room, runs down the hallway, down the foyer steps, into the living room, just runs right into Burke Devlin's arms. So Roger's right after him. He grabs David. He's going to lock him up in his room. And Burke is just kind of there watching all this happen around him, and Victoria's noticing him. She's like, well, you think this is funny, don't you? So like, low key, yeah. Like, yeah, he's having fun. He's pissing off the whole family. This is great for him. He doesn't have to go to the movies. He can just fuck with the Collins family. Shot of the foyer for the credits. Uh, I don't know. Burke's, I don't know. I don't hate the guy. I don't love the guy. He's okay by me. I sort of like since I've seen more of the show, I kind of know where he's coming from, but I do see how it's rude to just go around upsetting people. He wouldn't normally want to do that, but he kind of has a reason to dislike the family. He says he doesn't like the family. It sounds like he really just doesn't like Roger. He's fine with David. He's fine with Carolyn. It seems fine with Liz. But I think he just says Colin's family to make it sound like it sounds more vindictive if you just say I don't like Roger Collins. Whereas you say, oh, I don't like the whole family, that makes it sound like, oh, well, if you don't like a whole family, that's understandable. Oh, if you just don't like one person, it's like, well, I don't know, don't talk to them. So episode 32, still on that third night, over in the foyer, Roger is telling Liz that David tried to kill him, so he's got him locked up in his bedroom right now. And Liz doesn't believe him. Roger says the valve found in David's bedroom, or it was found in David's bedroom, and he only needed a wrench to remove it. So over at the police department, the constable wants information on the Collins family, just because he's close to them. And Bill Malloy's there. He's like, nope. He knows that Burke is guilty, that he sent a PI. The constable knows about that. Sorry, I got confused by my own words. Then he asked about David instead. You know, Bill Malloy, for a guy who's been working on boats for 20 plus years, he's also a detective, it seems. Over at Collinwood in the living room, Roger told Matthew to not bother looking for David. He didn't say what he's done, but he calls David a monster. And this is when we find out Roger's wife's name is Laura. So we can assume her last name is Collins. That would be Laura Collins. Before it was always Roger's wife, David's mother. So we finally get a first name for her. She was Burke Devlin's girlfriend. Roger married her right after the trial. Then David was born 8 months later. Oh, yeah, sorry. Just again, I confused myself. Almost 8 months later. So maybe not exactly, give or take. And I saw Burke Devlin. He sees Burke Devlin in David Collins. Why would you see your enemy's personality in your son so much to say that? And this is when he said he's been at Collinwood for 2 months. Oh, damn. This is bad. Says he wasted 9 years on that boy. That's bad. Dude, he hates that kid. That is not cool. It could only be worse if he said it to his face. He's saying this to other people. That's bad enough, but damn. So at the police department, the constable saying to Bill Malloy, do you think David hates Roger? And Bill said, well, he doesn't like him. He's, mad that Roger wanted to send him away. So the constable tells Bill that, David had, touched that wrench after it was evidence, and that wrench only had David and Burke Devlin's fingerprints on it, and Burke's prints were on top of David's. Doesn't know what to do about that. So at Collinwood, the living room, Roger's got a drink. And he says this David isn't a normal child. He'd be in prison if he were an adult. And Liz knows what David did, but she wants him to stay. Roger's like, so he can try it again? Like, he's been coping with David for 9 years. And Liz tells him that David acts this way to deal with your hatred towards him. So why don't you try helping your son? It's like Roger doesn't think David is his son. That's what it seems like. Maybe that's where all that hatred was coming from. So Liz tells him, leave David alone. Victoria and I will handle him. And then later on, the constable arrives to tell them about the fingerprints. And Liz tells the constable that it was an accident. And that part was loose anyway. So the cops drop it. Oh, it was just a loose part. It fell out on its own. Nobody's trying to kill anybody. I guess there's not a case. Cops leave. Okay. So after the constable leaves, they're in the foyer, and Roger tells Liz, you protected a monster, and you'll regret it. A shot of the living room for the credits. I'm glad I grabbed my other notebook, because I've got half of the episode in one, and the rest in the other. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to think. I am coming up with names for the storylines that are happening. I haven't mentioned any so far. It's nothing. I don't know if anybody else divides up the show into different storylines. If they do, they might have different names for them. I don't know what that is. I'm just doing my own thing. A movie called Game Night? Like video games or sports games? All right, episode 33. This aired August 10, 1966. Still on that third night. We are in the living room, and Liz is just sitting there in the dark. Like, we saw her do that before. Remember when David came in, he had dirt all over him, and he was just all gunked up. She's just sitting, there's no lights on. The only real lights we get are from, like, the window over her shoulder, and she's just sitting there. Liz does seem a little bit sad sometimes. Like, she doesn't come off, like, necessarily moody or that she's depressed, but you can just tell by the woman. She's got troubles. So Carolyn comes in. She says that the Collinsport and staff saw David leave with Burke Devlin. And Liz says David hasn't admitted that. Carolyn says, shouldn't you apologize to Burke for accusing him? And Liz just does not give a fuck. Carolyn is the only one who's got a chance at a normal life. And Carolyn isn't ready to marry Joe. Straight talk. She's just not ready. So we're back over in the Blue Whale. Joe is drunk AF. I figured it's just because Carolyn wouldn't marry him, but like we've just known, like, dude, you know, he's got his beer and he's just taking a drink, you know, beer, shot, whatever he had. Oh, B-Chap says they went into a house and played mystery games, including well thought out games. That's cool. That's fun. Use your imagination. The bartender, his name is Andy. Every once in a while, oh, hey, Andy, need another round. They don't always call him by name, but that's, I'm pretty sure it's always the same guy. It might always be the same actor, Andy. Burke comes in, he sits down, orders for both of them, gets another round. Oh, actually, Joe is sad because remember, he was gonna go into, he wanted to get a boat, so he was gonna go half seas on one with his work buddy, so they could get that going in a couple of months rather than a year. And, you know, Joe's trying to start his own fishing fleet down the line, sort of a thing. But his work buddy had to back out on that plan because his wife is going to have a baby. So it will take him a year and a half to save up enough money for a boat. Then Burke says, marriage isn't always the answer. Cut to Carolyn in the living room. Is this okay? Yeah, this is where this is a that won't be an issue until episode 64. Carolyn can't believe David is staying at Collinwood. It won't be safe for anyone. So Liz says, then marry Joe and leave. Doesn't say it like mean, but that's basically what she says. Well, if it's so scary here, you've got a way out. So up in Victoria's room, she's looking at that note that was found with her. You know, her name is Victoria. I can't take care of her. That note. Carolyn comes in and she asks, do you think we're crazy? How can you stay here? And she says, I'd hate it if you left. And Carolyn, she wants to find out who she is, but she doesn't know how. But at least Victoria's trying to figure out who she is. So Carolyn doesn't know who she is. She just does these things, like I was saying before. She does things and doesn't think about the consequences of them because she probably hasn't had to any time before. So she's just kind of just bumbling through life. Like, plus she's not like the same thing with Maggie. It's not like everything is told to her either. So she's just running off of the information she has. So you kind of have to excuse her for making some of the decisions she makes, but then she just really does not consider other people's feelings. Carolyn's saying that the worst thing she could do was marry Joe and bring him into the Collins family. Like, not to Collinwood, but just being a part of the family. It just sounds like she doesn't want to curse him with that. So we're now down over at the Blue Whale, and Joe's talking about, like, I could be happy with Carolyn if it wasn't for her family. And dude is lit the fuck up like a Christmas tree. And he's tired of being pushed aside. And that just kind of stirs something up in him, so he's got to go, and he stumbles out of the bar. So back at Collinwood in the foyer, Liz is saying that, whoa, who is she saying that to? That's a direct quote. Damn. Okay, yeah, so Joe shows up at Collinwood. Again, drunk as fuck. He's got something to say, wobbly on his feet. And Liz is just having no part of this. She says, if you can still drive, I suggest that you leave. Like, who invited you? Like, go back and watch that. That's a direct quote. She really does say that. Damn, LMFAO. Just zero fucks given about Joe's safety. To let him drive home like that, down that windy ass road where Roger just had a car accident. Joe can drive up that road drunk, but Roger can't drive down it sober. Just realized that. Roger just needs to drink more. But Joe's not leaving. He's not leaving till he sees Carolyn. So Carolyn hears them, comes out. I don't think she's ever seen Joe like this. Like, dude is toasted. And Joe wants to talk to them both. We're going into the living room. Just, ugh. So Joe's saying that Carolyn, he's like, she's never going to marry anybody. But he's saying she's never going to marry anyone because she's scared, because she saw what marriage did to Liz, and then he falls out. So they kind of help him over to the sofa, let him lie down. Then he calls Collinwood a prison and passes out, just out like a light. And Victoria's come downstairs by now, so she's seeing all of this too. Carolyn says, whatever got into him? Victoria says, he loves you. So at the Blue Whale, Victoria goes there. That's her first time in the Blue Whale. She's there to see Burke. And he's really happy about it. I guess he thought she wasn't going to show up. We get a shot of the living room fireplace for the credits. And that's episode 33. I think that might be a good place to stop just because I've got 20 minutes left. I don't know if I can get through another episode. I think I can. So episode 34 aired on August 11, 1966. Oh, Central Intelligence with Jason Bateman. I haven't seen that, but I've heard about it. Still that third night at the Blue Whale, Victoria just went there to meet Burke to get information about her past. But they ordered drinks, and Burke says he didn't figure that she would drink sherry. Says Liz is the sherry type. And then mentions how Carolyn won't go harder than soda, but pretends it's stronger. And he figures that Victoria is either a chocolate malt or champagne kind of girl. So Victoria, she doesn't care about all this flirting and compliments and none of that. She wants to know why Burke had a PI after her, and she wants to see the report that he made. So Burke offers her dinner. And Victoria's like, no, instead of that, let's go to your room. Then we're in the living room. Joe wakes up out of it. Apparently, he was just out for about an hour and a half. And Carolyn brings him coffee and tells him what he said. And Joe's just, he's not like that. So he's really apologetic. And he was just so bummed out about the boat. But he doesn't regret telling Burke Devlin what he thought of him. He just went on a fuck you speed run any percent. He told off Burke, he went to Collinwood, told Carolyn what he thought about her, and then just nodded out. So I'm glad he got it out of his system. And then over in Burke's room, he offers to have dinner sent up, and Victoria is just there to read that report. So Burke says, "You're acting like you have something to hide." Victoria's like, "How can I?" Like, she doesn't know herself. What the hell does she have to hide? She's going to hide information she doesn't know about herself? But she's just straight to the point. She doesn't care about the food. Like, he's just trying to show her a good time. She just wants to find information about herself. She doesn't care about any of the rest of it. She's just very down to business about it. And I don't blame her. We sort of really don't know what her feelings exactly are towards Burke at this point. So over at the living room, Carolyn's great-great-grandfather was a drunk. His picture's above the fireplace. I forget which one that was, if that's Benjamin or Isaac, but it's that one, the one above the fireplace. And that's when Joe remembers he forgot to pay his tab again. He can't spend one night in the Blue Whale and not be a dick to someone. So Carolyn says, "Shouldn't you apologize to Burke for telling him off?" And Joe does not give a fuck. He can't like a guy who tried to kill her uncle. And Carolyn says, "Oh, well, that was cleared up. It was an accident." Joe says, "I don't care. I still don't like him. It's because Burke made a pass at her. So he won't apologize. He doesn't trust him." So over in Burke Devlin's room, he orders 2 steaks, medium rare. That report didn't say anything about Victoria. Nothing she didn't know. So Burke offers to help her find out about her past. And Vicky's immediately suspicious, like, "Oh, why? To hurt the Collins family?" Burke's like, "No, to help you." And yeah, Victoria doesn't know what she thinks of him. She really hasn't told us too much. It's like he's friendly, but she's suspicious, and she's just meeting everybody. So later on, Victoria tells him about that money that was sent to the foundling home for her. And she couldn't help but think that there was someone out there who knew who she was. And there was a slim chance Collinsport connected with the money, since that was coming from Bangor. But why did a stranger want her to work in their house? And then the Collins family wouldn't say who recommended her, and she doesn't know any more now than before she arrived. So Burke advises her to leave Collinwood because shit's about to go down. And Victoria says she can't. So then there's a knock at the door, and it's Joe. He's just there he was at the Blue Whale to pay his tab, but apparently Burke covered it. So Joe is there to pay Burke for covering his tab. $8 plus tip. So how much was $8 worth in 1966? That's kind of heavy drinking. $79.76. That's almost $80 worth of drinks. Nowadays, that's like, what, 3 or 4 cocktails? But, dude, because he already paid his tab before, so he didn't already have a tab. So this was just one night of drinking. I wonder what he had. I don't think we ever get, like, prices for drinks exactly. Not in the bar. In the diner we do, but not in the bar. B-Chap just reminded me of Joe, the character in the Family Guy cartoon. Except that this guy can walk. This guy can walk. But Joe's really just there to pay him back and go. So he, mentions that like it was the $8 plus tip. We don't know how much the tip is. But then he sees Victoria there. It's just like, hey, I was just here to pay you back. I gotta go. And then later on, Victoria's not staying for dinner. Like food is brought up. It's got like the thing that covers the steaks and that. Burke ordered salad, but there was not salad on that table. WTF? But she's not staying for dinner. She's read that report. She wants to go. And Burke does let her know that he is serious about helping her. And we get a shot of Burke Devlin's room for the credits. I haven't mentioned this before, but the number on his door is 24. That really doesn't mean anything, but it's funny when you see them use, like, you think the room looks familiar, it just has different furniture, and then you see the door open and it still has that 24 on it. You'll notice that. It's not necessarily gonna let, oh, you broke my immersion. It's just cute to see the same things multiple times. Like that cottage set I mentioned, you will see that fireplace used again. You'll see it used where there's no doors there. Maybe there's a door on the other side of the room. You'll see it where instead of having that, there's a wall, but then there's this little like cupboard there. Sometimes that's gone, and there's like a door to a closet or another room there. But that fireplace always stays the same. So again, if you're trying to like build it in Minecraft or something, if you're trying to say build every single set from Dark Shadows, you can just copy that fireplace that you built and just set it in different areas and just change the walls around it. I'm not kidding. It's the same. You can recognize, you watch the show long enough, you pay attention to detail, you'll pick it up. It's fun to notice that, like, that's the same room as. Oh, okay, so that's a bedroom now. All right. Is it? I thought that was a. Okay, it was a library there, and now it's a bedroom. Okay, it's just cute to see that stuff. You gotta think, I don't know. It was shot in a studio in New York, but they weren't shooting in the same building as any other shows. So when you worked on Dark Shadows, you went to the Dark Shadows building, you worked, you went home. You didn't see folks who were filming other shows at the time, so you didn't have those other influences. Everybody there was just focused on the one show. And that's how that went. And you can even find that they have like the times, like you show up, you got your rehearsal, then you got your dress rehearsal, then you got like your practice filming, and then you got your real filming, and it takes the whole day. You're filming in like maybe 4 o'clock, but you had to get there in the morning, and they're like, oh, that's not even including all the others. So there's a lot. I've never seen Rules of Engagement, B-Chap. Rules of Engagement. No, I haven't seen that. What's the one? Uh, Good for her. That meme. I don't know what I was expecting. That meme. Uh, Arrested Development. That's it. Great show. The only thing that stopped me from continuing it is when they have to jump to like credits or a commercial, or if they're just doing a little part where the narrator's talking. They'll make the screen small, and then they'll put like a white border around it instead of black like we're all used to. That's too bright for me, so that takes me right out of it. So it is fun to watch. It's great. They've got inside jokes, they've got recurring jokes. The way it's shot, they use the camera to tell jokes. Like you see somebody reacting to something, and then you get like a wide shot of it. Oh, that's why it's funny. We couldn't see it. Oh, it's so smart. And then it has your little if it has an actor cameoing on the show, it's not, we're focusing on specifically this actor while they're on the show. Like I say, Richard Belzer was on there for a hot minute in one episode. They didn't make like, oh, that's him, and there he is. Like he's not with us anymore, but there he was there. And or maybe Patton Oswalt was on an episode, but he's like playing one character in a couple scenes, so it's not like the episode was focused on him. That's okay. I like when they do that. Like, we clearly know it's them. Don't do like The Simpsons did, where they got an entire episode harping on Michael Jackson. That is so disgusting to watch nowadays. I can't believe they did it back then. That's just lazy. Like, oh, this is easy. Let's just all, harp on this one singer. It's disgusting to watch nowadays. Oh my god. The Real Gems, they cover The Simpsons. I'm sure that's where I saw that at. Ugh. Since we know what was going on now, allegedly. That's cool. I'll pick up with episode 35 next time. Certainly not going to end the show early. We got another 10 minutes. There's never any reason to end the show early, because then I would just be antsy until 9 o'clock. Update your phone. Blow me. August 1st, one year, I updated, I forget, one of my phones, and it changed, like, the way the volume is. I don't do that slidey stuff. Never forgave myself for that, so I've never updated a phone. But next week, it's a full week at, quite frankly, oh man. The year is ending. And then just we'll just proceed along from there. I just assume Frank's going to keep going with the every other Friday off into the fall, since he started taking every other Friday off in the spring and called it Summer Fridays off. If you start something in the spring and call it a summer thing, there's no reason to expect it to end when summer ends. So I just assume that's going to go on for the rest of my life. But that just means we get an extra day to see each other. That's all that is. Like that thing about Frank saying, yeah, possibly, like, oh, would you still donate to support the show if it went down to 3 or 4 nights a week, kind of a thing? It's like, as a frankly, I hate having time off from the show. I don't see, there's part of me that doesn't, I do understand why, like, a human would need time off, but as a frankly, I don't understand. So as a frankly, I don't understand fewer shows, but the fact that I do my own shows just means that would be more time for me to go live. So I only watch, quite frankly, live. I know he has other stuff posted, but it's clips from the show I saw when it was live, so I don't have to see it again. But that's just me personally. You can watch the show or the channel as much or as little as you want. It's as long as you have a good time in the chat room. So I mean, I'm not saying you will, just like if he does, if that becomes a regular thing, and if I'm still around, that just means I'll be able to do shows then. I can get through Dark Shadows faster. Since there are 1,245 episodes, you can watch all of these right now on Tubi. I've got the link in the description for the show and for the channel. They break it up into 2 parts. It's Dark Shadows, the beginning. It's what I'm on now. That goes up to episode 209. What everybody really knows the show for is just Dark Shadows, no subtitle. That's episode 210 through the rest of the show. Well, when it was airing, it was not separated into the beginning and Dark Shadows. It was just all one thing. It's just after the fact. I would imagine if you started watching after 210 and then you started at the beginning, you'd be like WTF for 200 episodes. So they just did that to stop people from having a meltdown when they had to watch so many episodes before the other actors came on that they watched. BJF says, quite frankly, is pretty much like any other YouTuber. Some YouTube videos' contents are annoying, but on average, don't mind, quite frankly, too much. I'm the same way. There's stuff, even from channels that I like. Gray still plays. I love him, but there's some of his stuff that it's just too, 280s music. If there's AI on the title, I won't watch. If he's playing a mobile game and it's just a strip down the middle, I don't watch that. But his other stuff I will. I don't like when Puff shakes that cowbell. It hurts my tinnitus, but I still like the guy enough to be subscribed to him. It's just, you don't have to like 100% of a channel's output. It's okay if you do. It's okay if you don't. It doesn't hurt anybody for you to have your own preferences. Just don't be the creator and bite somebody's head off if they don't care for certain aspects of your show, just be a little bit more proud of the work you're doing, and then yeah, that'll stop that. Just be proud of the work you're putting out there. And if people want to, I get criticized all the time. I was getting criticized before I had a channel. So if you can't take people like sending flames at you for the things you're saying or doing, I guess stay inside and don't talk to anybody, because folks are going to have opinions. But Beat Chap said, I usually watch whatever turns up in the YouTube homepage, recommended, or listen to music. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes the recommended knows what it's talking about. Like, yeah, I do like that. I would watch that. Sometimes I don't. Like, don't recommend this channel to me. Ever again. How dare you? But yeah, the shirt is Gray Still Plays, Not Today's Satan. I don't know if you can read it is very light. It does say Gray Still Plays across here. That's probably why I didn't buy a gray shirt, so you could read that part. But link in the description, not affiliated. I just really like his channel. He's so good at everything. I just wish you would use less 80s music and less AI. I don't like what those things, but I don't like what AI summons up for people. I don't want him bringing any negativity his way because he uses that stuff. And I do have super chats. It's not YouTube super chat, but I have a link to Venmo and Buy Me a Coffee, Nikki M. Carlin. Since 100% of your super chats go to myself, it stays in the United States. It does not go to hookers and below. And when you leave a comment, I read that at my next live show. Unless you don't want me to. If you leave a comment saying don't read this, I won't read it. Like, hey, don't mention my name. Like, okay, I'll just say somebody donated. That's why I never say the price. If somebody can donate $1, that's great. If you can donate $100, that's great. If you can donate $1,000, holy shit. But it's like you're not better than anybody else for donating more. I mean, unless you want to be like shouted out for like a specific amount. Nobody's said that yet, but just the fact that I do have folks. That's messed up, John. Just the fact that I do have folks like that want to help out and contribute. That's enough for me. And getting to like say their words on the air, like I hope that's enough. But unless somebody specifically says, hey, tell everybody I donated this amount when you read my name. Okay, I will. But nobody's said that yet. That's fucked up though. John Rogers says my bank just flagged me on buying gun parts. LOL. Just pay cash. That's messed up. I think I've always paid cash for all of my protection. Rover says I'm accepting donations for hookers and blow. Yeah, again, specifically, if you donate, well, here's 10 grand for hookers and blow. Like, well, then here's me going live from Vegas. Asking for donations to get back home because my hooker ripped me off. Hey, you won't believe what happened, man. Actually, you will. Yeah, what's up, Rover? So I'm glad you guys had a couple of extra hours on a Saturday. It was great to see you guys. I had a really good day. I'm glad I got to have my light darker on my side and not hurt my eyes, and it doesn't affect any of this that you guys can see, so that's great. And I'm just cruising into New Year's Day, flying through these episodes of Dark Shadows. That's like what, the second notebook I've gone through. Okay, well that's just one, but still, that's a whole one. That was episode 2 through 33, and now I'm on this, and this goes up to I think 65, 64, 64. Yeah, we're just flying through it. Hope you like Dark Shadows. Hope you dig the reviews. You can always watch these in black and white, 59 years ago. Oh, John Rogers says it was a barrel for my dad's old 22 rifle. Yeah, unless they think some like Civil War person is it. Come on, man. I'm sure you can't just go into the store and buy that. Is that one that I held? That's old as hell, dude. Oh, man. Firearms are heavy. It's like there's metal inside or something. And then you load it up and it's heavy, or what's going on in there? You add more stuff and it gets heavier. Is that how things work? But yeah, you guys are the best. Thanks for showing up, smashing the like button, and being subscribed, and being Franklies, and being based, and staying sexy. And don't forget your pants. You're going to need those all week at the show. So have a good meal, get some good sleep. Yeah, smoke out on the balcony. You just take it easy. It's technically summer, but it's cooling down, so it's these nice chill type of days. There might still be leaves on the trees. I don't know. I don't look at the outside that much. I'm a YouTuber. John Rogers, I says I think it was made in the 60s. Oh yeah, it might be a little bit tough to get parts for that. Well, the bank just needs to get it together. They need to stop freaking out just because it's a couple of days after 9/11. It's not 2001. They can chill out. So I love seeing you guys. Thanks for showing up again. I might be repeating myself. But thank you guys for giving me a platform where I can see you guys every night. Almost every single night. We see each other in a chat room or we see each other here. Oh, there we go. One to go to said found a movie titled Stand By Me on Tubi, but it's Korean drama, 2018 tearjerker. Yeah, I don't know where to find Stand By Me at. Before Shane found the Prestige for me for free, but we had at least a week to watch that. Yeah, Frank is doing a public film club on Monday after the show. It's going to be Stand By Me. Uh, that's it. He told us last second at the last show that he went to. One to go to said, "Don't trust banks. Credit unions are better, but also sketchy." Yeah, I've got a credit union. They couldn't spell my name correctly off of my driver's license, so I have no faith in them. But like, just keep the money. Just do the adding and subtracting, you guys. But yeah, I love you guys again. Everybody, take it easy. Always remember everything you see on a screen is meant to either entertain you or distract you. So don't let the distractions on the screen affect you more than real people in real life. Like your friends and your family are more important than a TV show. As much as I love Dark Shadows, I realize there's like the Dark Shadows is always going to be there. These reviews are always going to be there. So if you have to like run out and spend time with your family, and instead of watching me or watching a TV show, go do that. They're going to need you more. I'll always be here. John Rogers said, "I bank at Vacation Land." Yeah, that's where I go. So yeah, I love you guys again. Everybody, take it easy. I will see you in a chat room. Check out Dark Shadows. Check out some Minecraft. Until next time.